So we're starting out with our fabric laid out and all our other ingredients. I have 1.5 meters of fabric here, and this is definitely going to be more than enough, so we're just going to head straight on into cutting. So I have my fabric folded over on this end, and as you can see, I didn't fold it all the way over because I folded over exactly what I need. So the widest point of my measurement is the bust, and so I divided the bust by 4, and then I made sure I had at least that amount here. So now I'm just going to go ahead and cut the bodice, and I'm going to do that for the front and the back, and I'm going to show you how I do that. This is so easy, and because the fabric is really stretchy and we're just doing a form-fitting long sleeve top, this is just going to be the perfect beginner friendly project, and it would still look good either way. Like, it's not going to, I don't think it's going to be pretty hard to mess up, I think. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so starting up here, this is going to be my shoulder line, right? So we're just going to do a basic bodice block. If you've seen my tutorial for that, I will link that in the description box. That's basically like what we're going for here. So first off, up here, we're going to measure the shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2. So I'm just going to mark that. And then I'm going to go down a little and still mark the same thing, and then just connect those 2 points together. And then because of like the shoulder slant, we're going to come up here and we're going to mark almost an inch, about 3/4 of an inch. You could do half an inch as well. So just come down by either half an inch or 3/4 of an inch, or maybe a full inch, honestly. Then from that point, I'm going to measure my armhole. So armhole is typically bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So whatever you get with that, you measure that just like that, and so you have that sort of an L shape like that. Now back up here, we're going to do the neck, and because this is a turtleneck, so it's going to be pretty snug. So I'm just going to use, usually if it's just a regular round neck, I would probably do around 4 inches, but because this is more of like a snug fit, I'm going to go for 3.3 1/4, so 3 1/4 inches wide. I'm going to mark that, and then this is going to be my front. So for the front, I think I'm going to go for about 2 inches deep, and then I'm just going to freehand a quarter circle shape from those 2 points like that. If you have a French curve, you definitely want to use it for this process. Okay, and then at this point here where we have the tail end of our L shape, we're going to get the bust measurement divided by 4, and I'm not adding a sewing allowance to my horizontal measurements because, like we said earlier, this fabric is stretchy and we're going for a snug fitted look. So I'm just going to measure that here. And now if you want to go for like just a straight fit for your top, then you could take this measurement and just mark that all the way down and just have a straight, like not too form-fitting top. But I think I want to cinch it in a bit at the waist. So what I'm going to do is come up here and measure from the shoulder to right around where my waist is, and then I'm going to mark that just so I know that point. And on that area there, I'm going to take this same measurement, but I'm going to take out about an inch from that, and then that's what I'm going to mark here. So it's just going to give it just a bit of a, you know, just cinches it in just a tiny bit at the waist like that. And now I'm going to mark my full length, and then I think I'm going to use the same width that I have up here at the hem of the top as well. So I'm just going to measure what I have for my full length, and be sure to add your hemming allowance because of course you're going to hem the bottom of your top. So I'm just going to mark this, and I'm going to go ahead and mark where my hem is going to be. And then now I'm going to connect all of my points together just like that. So there's my hem, and these are all these side points connected. Now at this point here where we have the sharp L shape, just at the sharp corner there, we're just going to make it into a curved line, so we don't have any sharp edges, so it's more like that. And then of course we're going to connect the shoulder slope to the edge of the neckline, just with a slanted line, nothing too complicated. Just so you understand, it's supposed to be connected from that point to the edge of the neckline with a straight slanted line. Is that like, does that make sense? Like the line is slanted, but it's like supposed to be straight, like from that point to that point. Anyway, I'm going to pin this all down, and then I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to use this to cut the back, because like I said, this is the front, because the front has a deeper neckline. That's the only difference. So I'm going to cut the back, and for the back, the only difference is that my neckline is going to be just about an inch instead of the 2 inches that we used here. So let's get to that. Okay, and now that we're done with all that, you should have 2 pieces that look just like this. So you can see that they're the same thing, and then you have the front having a lower neckline and the back neck is a bit higher. But the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to measure what we have on the armhole, because we're going to need it as we cut our sleeves. That's the next piece that we're going to cut right now. So first thing we do for the sleeve is to measure the length, or well, at least the first thing I do is to measure my desired length. So I'm just going to mark that. I want these sleeves to be extra long. And then at this point here, remember I said measure your armhole on your bodice piece. So I have 10 inches for my armhole. Now what I do for the sleeves is I start out actually doing like a straight line here, like maybe about 3 inches from this point, yeah, and then I sort of just freehand like that armhole curve. And it's kind of a challenge doing it on this fabric because it's stretchy and it just keeps like stretching as I try to mark it. But yeah, so something like this, and it just comes this way, and I freehand that, and then I come with my tape and I start measuring from this point 1. And because it's a curved line, that's why I'm holding my tape this way. So I come this way and I just like follow that line with my tape and make sure that I have what at least the amount that I measured my armhole to be here, which is just about what I have after measuring. So this is the point. If yours stops maybe somewhere around here, then you mark that, and that's where your like thing is going to start. But mine is like basically exactly what I have. So we're going to take this to be my point right there. And then at the hem of the sleeve, I'm going to measure what I have for my cuff measurement or wrist, and I'm just going to divide that by 2, and that's exactly what I'm just going to mark here. And then if you have like your round elbow, like just around the midpoint of your sleeve, you can measure that somewhere around the midpoint. I think I'm just going to do that. So now I'm going to join this point to this point and this point to this point up here. And there we have it. So I'm going to pin this all in place, and I'm going to cut it out, and I'm going to use this to cut my second sleeve, and I'll show you the pieces that we have so far. So here are our sleeves, both of them exactly the same. And then of course that's our front, this is our back. Now the very last piece that we need to cut is the turtleneck, like the sort of collar thing that makes your turtleneck a turtleneck. So I'm going to measure what I have here, right? So I'm going to actually open that up and measure the whole thing at the back, and I'm going to do that at the front as well. And I'm going to also be sure to take out about an inch, because by the time we join the shoulders together, that will take out at least an inch from the whole thing. So we're basically trying to get the circumference of the neck. If you also want to, you can actually go ahead and join the shoulders together. That's open this up, sew your front and your back together by joining the shoulders, and then take the measurement of that circumference. All we're trying to do is to get what we have at the circumference of our neck here. And then I'm going to take that, and I already have my fabric folded over here, and this is kind of the height that I'm going for the turtleneck. I was thinking like about 4 inches because I don't want it to be too high. I also don't want those like really short ones. So we have here, yeah, just about a little over 4 inches, which is perfect. So about 4.5 inches, half an inch for allowance, which I think will be great. So with that circumference, we're going to make sure that we have that, like if for example the circumference that we get is about 10 inches, we're going to measure 10 inches. If it stops here, we're going to mark that and go all the way here, and then we're basically going to cut this way and cut that way, and that is going to be like that rectangular piece of fabric is what's going to make the turtleneck collar-ish part of our neck. So I'm going to go ahead, get my circumference, cut this out, and show you what that looks like. Here's my neck piece. This area looks a bit jagged, but like I don't know, it was a struggle cutting this part out. But anyway, this is what I have, and it's basically going to be kind of like this. I'm thinking if I should like sort of make it like a bit curved, because the fact that it's straight just kind of bothers me. So I think maybe, I don't know, okay, maybe I might just like, this is how it's going to be, right? And I think I'm going to let this side seam just actually sit exactly on the side. So I think if I fold it over like this, I think maybe I could come up by 3/4 of an inch and just freehand sort of like a tiny curve, just so it sits better on the neckline. And also I think I'm going to snip off a little bit off the side so it's a bit more snug on the neck. So I'm just going to do that actually. Yeah, so this is what I ended up with. So it's kind of, you can see that it's kind of like a slight like curve like that. I hope this makes it sit better on the neck. So I'm also just going to snip out like 1/2 inch when I'm serging, because I'm going to be using my serger to sew this because it's stretchy fabric. But if you don't have a serger, then definitely use the zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. So first thing that we're going to do is to open this up. So we have the bodice pieces, right? So I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to place the front onto this, right sides of the fabric facing each other, and then I'm going to sew the shoulders together, and I'm going to show you how I attach the sleeves. Okay, so we have our shoulders joined, and I laid it out so you can see everything, like all the pieces. I also have the sleeves right there at the armholes. So after joining my shoulder, I like to go straight on ahead and pin my sleeves to the armhole and then sew them on, so that when I'm joining the sides together, I can just close the whole thing up, start at the hem of the sleeve, go all the way down to the underarm, and then come down to the side like that, and I have the whole top basically done, and then we can go straight on into hemming. So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to pin my sleeves to my armholes and then sew them on, and I would show you the next steps to take. And now that we have our sleeves attached, we're just going to go ahead and sew from the hem of the sleeve back up onto the underarm and then down to the hem of the top. So we're going to do that on both sides, and you basically have the body of the top mostly finished. Now for the collar thing, for the turtleneck, I've also gone ahead to prep that piece. Let me show you. So I already have it right here. I sew that end closed, and then I folded it back over. So this is what we have. This is the raw edge that is going to sit on the neck, and just like that. So it's going to kind of look something like that. And yeah, so I'm going to attach that to the neck and also close the underarm and the sides on both sides. And after that, all that'll be left to do is to do the hem. So stay tuned and let's wrap this up. So I actually ended up doing the hem, and basically the top is done because I've closed up the sides and the underarms. And yeah, so I hemmed it before joining the sides because I felt like that would look better. It was just like a last minute decision, and I think that was a really good decision. But as you can see, the hem isn't like a regular folded hem because I didn't want to use a zigzag stitch for the hem. I didn't want any of the stitches to show at the hem, and since I have my serger, I was able to just basically fold it over. So I'm going to get some fabric to demonstrate what I did here in case you want to replicate this. I think you might be able to replicate with this zigzag stitch too. Hold on. So let's assume this is my fabric and this is my hem. I folded it this way, and this here that we're looking at is the wrong side of the fabric, so this is the inside here. So I folded it like this at the hem, and then I pinched it this way. So I ran it through my serger like that, and then by the time it's opened up, you can see at the front here, you just have a line and you can't see the stitches. Then you go inside, and that's where you can see where I pinched it like that and did the stitches. So that's how I hemmed the hem of the top and the hem of the sleeves over there. And yeah, so the top is basically done. I'm going to turn it right side out, and here is our top right side out. Gorgeous top. I love this so much. I'm not going to be trying this on because I didn't make it for myself, so this visual is going to have to do, but it looks good. It looks like it will be comfy enough, and it's stretchy fabric. That's another thing, so it's really forgiving. It's like one of the fabrics I would recommend for beginner sewers because it lets you do what you need to do, and sometimes like some fit issues might not be so obvious with stretch fabric. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.